What's up, junkies? Welcome back in for another edition of Pigskin Junkies. Myself, Michael Larson, the big brother, Jerry Larson, and Scott Panza, here to talk Week 5 of the NFL and kind of what we're looking at pick-wise. Fellas, how are we doing?
Quarter of the season in the books,
Crazy.
Feeling pretty good. We're at 60% in the Super Contest, and the Week 5 slate is just a puke fest of terrible, terrible games. The best being the Thursday nighter, and then just a lot of nothing to look at. So not the most exciting weekend of the games, but it's NFL football. It beats college football for sure.
Whoa. Yeah, feeling good. I actually was scrolling Twitter earlier, and I saw the guy got a check from Darren Stevens with Matt and Tony. I don't know if that was today or yesterday.
That was today, yeah.
What, but that was cool to see. It's $140,000. I mean, like a real check for the quarter pole. Humble brag. I actually told Darren I thought that was a really cool part of the contest, and will keep people that would normally otherwise be disinterested very interested. So Scott and I'll give him credit. I piggybacked on his idea, thinking about the season, especially as it pertains to the contest in quarters, and you have a target for each quarter, and you try and do our best. So I would say at the quarter pole mark, certainly not where we want it to be. It's tough to be 19-1, but
Yeah.
Wow. feel good about where we're at otherwise. Not out of it just yet.
Yeah, and 19-1 is...
It's insane.
Yeah, I think
It's insane.
and picking
It's
at 60
unrepeatable.
Yeah,
It's two guys are there too, which is just even more banana land.
banana.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I guess so that's some of it with me. Like Super Contest, you have 3,700 people. So this is what I always say: if you have 3,700 people stand in a line and flip coins 20 times, someone's going to go 19-1, just as a law of large numbers.
Yeah, it'll even out by the end of the year. I mean,
Correct.
At this point last year, I was 15-5 on the way up, and then 32-8 through 8 weeks. I mean, I thought that was just a torrid pace, and
It's because it is.
came back to earth in the second half of the season. So I'm sure these guys, they're going to pull back. I'm definitely going to start tracking them where they shake out every week. But I think last weekend was a weekend where the public got crushed, and really a lot of people separated themselves. I think this is another weekend that it's just, I don't know where people feel super comfortable with a lot of these lines and a lot of these matchups, because there's just a lot of funky matchups out there and a lot of big spreads and a lot of puke games. So I'll be curious to see where consensus falls out, because I've been pretty good at predicting it in my model that I built, but this weekend I'm struggling with it. I'll be honest. This is definitely the toughest week of the year for me so far. I felt really good in week 3. I felt fantastic, and week 5 is just I'll be honest, for the listeners, struggling a little bit.
cool.
They speaking of which, public service announcement. If you emailed us about the Friday newsletter, it did not go out last week. I apologize about that. There were, we'll just call it extenuating circumstances last week. You can expect to have an email in your inbox probably as you're listening to this or later on Friday morning. So I do want to apologize to everyone. If you want to get on those newsletters, well, I should say singular newsletter. Scott is the only one writing it currently. I hope to be doing a college one very soon. Please email us, pigskinjunkiespodcast, all spelled out, at gmail.com. DM us on Twitter, hit us on Twitter, whatever. You guys know how to get a hold of us. Just tell us you want to get on the list.
Takes a big man to admit his faults.
Yeah, we messed up.
Yeah.
There were reasons that were legitimate.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
Yeah,
going to say.
exactly. It was a week 5. It's coming at you.
So, couple housekeeping things. Once again, please continue to rate, review, subscribe on the podcast, on iTunes is always great. We really appreciate it. I think we're at like 60-something reviews, which is, for... Like Jared and I always joke. I mean, this started out as, I think we had 5 friends that listen to this podcast. So just the fact that even people tweet at us is a victory from where we were, and we're just enjoying it. and it's just fun to be a part of a community. So we appreciate it. Keep tweeting at us. Once again, challenge these two jamokes on drafts.com. Use the promo code Pigskin Junkies, all one word, and you get a free $3 play. Please, just someone, please. Challenge.
Because I'm sitting on top of the league right now, just clowning everybody.
That's true. Don't make me do it, guys, okay? Don't make me do it. Because I'm not going
Mike
to
is
do
going
it.
to step into the octagon and get TKO'd in 0.8 seconds.
I got you in here
TKO?
for 3 minutes. Total knockout.
No, KO. Is that what it is? I obviously don't watch any
watch
type of fighting sports.
Hey, but SmackDown coming to Fox Friday. So, I mean, come on, guys. So, those are the housekeeping dealios. We're going to dive into it now. So you saw us on Twitter. It's going to be, obviously, we joke someone has to eat crow when Saturday comes around and you listen to this podcast because we can't see the future. Watching this Thursday night game of two teams that no one can seem to figure out on this podcast. Seahawks, Rams. Fellas, did you end up taking any place?
No, I had nothing on this. I went back and forth all day, and my mind was in a pretzel because I still think the Rams are one of the top 5 teams in the league, and they're on a short week off a really fast-paced game. So I would anticipate that they just kind of run out of steam in this game, and the Seahawks win. But I wasn't willing to put any money on it, so I stayed far away. I'm going to be a spectator, and as we sit right now and starting at 6-0 Rams, but they didn't capitalize on a turnover, and then they had a nice punt return, and they didn't punch it in. So, who knows? I have no opinion on this game.
Yeah, nothing for me either. My normal Thursday night home team thesis, especially this one, is in division. I normally would love this spot for our Seahawks. However, as I told one of the loyal listeners earlier today, I just can't. I have no feel for this team. I thought I had it on the screws, Bengals week 1, and it's been a complete dumpster fire ever since. And so I'm hitting the pause button on our birds for a couple of weeks, try and get that radar back honed in.
So we're going to get into games now, actually, that are on the card for Sunday. We got Ravens-Steelers. Ravens favored by 3 on the road.
This is a no play for me. In division, I still don't like what I'm seeing from Mason Rudolph. All his passes were short passes that you would think that the Ravens defense would figure out, but their defense got torched last week. I expect a big game out of Lamar Jackson, but laying 3.5 on the road in division, I want no part of this one. Gun to the head, I'd be on the Ravens, but I wouldn't feel too comfortable about it at all.
Yeah, I made this 3. No interest here from a play, certainly in the contest or any of my hard-earned dollars. I agree with Scott. What I saw on Monday night does not make me want to back the Steelers, despite the fact that they are getting a field goal at home in a divisional game, because I'm not too keen on the Ravens this year, but didn't see any value here in this number.
I saw a guy at the bar Monday with his Ben Roethlisberger jersey on and a terrible towel in his hand sitting by himself, and I just wanted to walk over and put my arm around him and be like, man, it's tough, but I see you. I see you out here being a fan, and I appreciate it. Next up.
I'll just do it at home, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Torture chamber.
Yeah, I got a drink. We're going to get through that game. Oh, it was horrible. Next up, we're going over to... You sound like you're from London. Bears. Raiders. Bears by 5.5 favorites.
I don't mind that it's Chase Daniel. I think he's just going to hammer the rock to Allen Robinson and Tariq Cohen. Raiders feeling pretty good about themselves off a big win on the road at the Colts, improving John Gruden's road record to 2-9. I do like what the Raiders did. They've been in London all week. Chicago just landed earlier today, so a little time to acclimate. But the kickoff is still a 1 o'clock kickoff. I think a lot of travel for the Raiders. It might catch up to them. I'm all over the Bears, and this is a Khalil Mack revenge game. This is definitely in the slate for sure. I'll be on the Bears. I had this game circled from the beginning of the year. Raiders in London. Smash fest all over the Bears.
Also, all over the Bears, we had a loyal listener. Actually, I take that back. First-time listener, long-time caller, if that makes any sense. Someone that I've known and been friends with for quite some time, but he listened to the podcast this week for the first time, and he texted me and said, "Hey, thanks for the tip on the hammer time on Bears." As soon as I listened to the podcast, I went click, click, click on 4, and it's now, as Micah said, sitting at 5.5. So I also like the Bears. Chase Daniel and Mitchell Trubisky, to me, are at worst the same person. At best, Chase Daniel is better than Mitchell Trubisky. So I like the defense quite a bit here for the Bears. I think the Raiders are not likely to score more than twice. And I think I agree with Scott. Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen, it's going to be a pound fest. Something in the teens here.
David Montgomery, not Jordan Howard.
Yeah, sorry. I'm getting them all mixed up. I can't keep them all straight. Who's Jordan Howard play for?
The Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, what's wrong with me? Who do you used to play for?
He used to play for the Bears.
My name's Mike Ruzioni.
It's in there somewhere.
And I play for the United States of America.
States of America.
It's in there somewhere, all these players and names and jerseys. The shrapnel in my brain is apparently not one to work out there. Yeah, they're giving it to someone. Whoever's taking the ball is going to be crushing the Raiders.
Yeah.
And speaking
Plus,
of
Raiders, very highly valued, predicated on their win against the Colts last week.
That was a shocker. But speaking of the just disgustingly horrible Monday night game that it was, the Red Rifle was non-existent. Cardinals traveling to the Bungles. Bengals favored by 3.
I'm scooping the points here, not feeling too good about it for sure with the Cards. Now, the problem with the Bengals is, what's wrong with the Bengals? They give up the second most fantasy points to running backs. The Cardinals love checking it down to David Johnson. This is a smash fest game for David Johnson. Give me the points, and plus just the offensive line for the Bengals cannot stop anybody. I expect a Chandler Jones turnover to maybe seal the deal for the Cards. But, I mean, the good news for this game, you don't want to watch it. You definitely don't want – actually, I'll be honest. I think this is a very sweet DFS spot. I think this would be a great game to stack because it might be up and down because both defenses are just terrible. But the good news for these teams is one of these rookie coaches is getting their first win. Congratulations to hopefully Cliff Kingsbury.
I will not watch 1 second of this game, and neither should you. No play. I made it Bengals 3. Sorry, I made it Bengals 2. I don't trust Cliff Kingsbury. I don't trust the Cardinals offense. Inept in the red zone.
You know, it's remarkable. Both of these teams, they look good week 1, and they've just steadily regressed.
Toilet bowl ever since.
I mean, the play calling last Monday night for the Bengals is just, it was not inspired in any which way. So, I'll take the Cards just because it's getting points, but puker of a game.
Mm-hmm. Jags, Panthers in Carolina. Panthers by 3.5.
I'll tell you what I think about this game is if Jalen Ramsey's playing, this is a smash spot for the Jags and Gardner Minshew. If he's not playing, I'm probably erring on the side that I don't want to touch this one too much. Jacksonville without Jalen Ramsey's defense, Jacksonville's defense without Jalen Ramsey, I mean, they were getting beat up by Joe Flacco last week. I think Kyle Allen, who will have more weapons than Joe Flacco has to work with, and Christian McCaffrey in there, I think that this is an open the floodgates potentially for them. Also, the Panthers just play great at home. But, Super Collins, this is too tough to pick because I just don't know Jalen Ramsey's status. Come Sunday morning when I see inactive, active, and hopefully I can get it or get some sort of indication before there's any line movement. I'll probably hop on the Panthers.
I would love to bet my favorite quarterback, Gardner Minshew, American hero, but after last week's performance and my money going straight into the Bunsen burner, firing it against Kyle Allen, I will pass on this game. I like a lot what Scott said. I wasn't going to play in the contest, but I may have to have a few shekels on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Couple shekels. I think Minshew's jockstrap could hold a couple shekels there, but that's about it.
Probably could. I think a couple Sacagawea coins.
I just think the fact that he actually met Uncle Rico is the greatest thing. And
They're
then
really pressing it.
Mike Leach even tweets out just a couple of Uncle Ricos when they're together. I'm like, man, the guy's unbelievable.
Mike Leach is another American hero.
He is.
National treasure.
Just a quick college thing for you, Scott. They asked him about the mascots in the Pac-12, and he went, yeah. Oh my goodness, it was the greatest thing that I think ever happened. Next up, my Minnesota Vikings traveling to the New York Giants. Vikings favored -5.5. I hate this team.
I love the Vikings in this spot. Ooh. No one could be more down on this team than Joe Public. 16-6 loss last week. It was in the 4:00 slot. Everyone saw it. Everyone's down on Kirk Cousins. A lot of noise in Minnesota right now. Danny Dimes, he's 2-0 since he took over. He's got a home game. They can go 3-2. Oh, this team's legit. They have no pass rush to speak of. They are not going to get to Kirk Cousins. They're not going to get in his face. This is the first real defense that Danny Dimes will have seen. Give me the Vikings. Lay the road points. I know it makes you want to puke, but this is a touchdown game. The Vikings win, and I really think they frustrate Danny Dimes in this one.
Yeah, so I like what Scott said. Everything makes sense. I made this line 3. I think the Vikings are a better team. I feel like that kind of goes without saying. I agree that you can't really buy a whole lot lower than the Vikings, and you can't pay much higher of a price on the Giants with a win against Tampa Bay and then a win against the hapless Redskins in the rearview mirror. Danny Dimes, this is the first real defense that he's going to see as starting quarterback of the Giants. Does get to do it in the friendly confines of MetLife Stadium, but I have zero interest in laying 5 points with this team on the road. No interest.
Sorry, Kirk's going to find a way to fumble the football, so he's got to keep that stat going of just losing it every game.
I would not be shocked if this were the Kirk Cousins, you stink, why are you making $30 million? Well, because now I go 28 for 32 for 290 and 4 touchdowns against the shit Giants.
Yeah. I do think
it's a very leaky defense.
Yeah.
Very leaky.
I think this is a game where Zim's got so much people crawling up his butt that Kubiak's going to be like, look, man, just come out and throw the football. And I think, like you said, I think this is the Kirk. Hey, I'm actually kind of good, but only against teams that are extremely suspect.
Don't forget Shermer's the head coach for the Giants.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So maybe
you're saying revenge game?
Not necessarily revenge, but I think he maybe understands how Zimmer's defense ticks because he saw it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we can just leave Stephon Diggs out there when we come back. Pats, Redskins, Patriots favored 15.5 on the road.
Ugh.
Oh, I love it. Wonka Vader pick of the week.
Oh, man.
Lay the 15. Dwayne. All right, so Case Keenum's in a walking boot. Colt McCoy barely practiced. He's coming off of a botched knee surgery. So Dwayne Haskins is going to be in there throwing picks all over the field. This is a big win for the Pats, a smash spot. Josh Norman, the corpse of Josh Norman isn't going to frustrate anyone on the Pats. Offense. And the Redskins just aren't going to score. I don't know how they're going to score. They're not going to run the ball. The Pats defense is stifling. I want to avoid betting the Pats just because I'm a total homer. I bet against them last week, but this is just a smash spot for them. Absolutely. Lay the points. This is Wonka Vader pick of the week. And I know it's super square, whatever. I don't care if it's square. I'm telling you, this team is going to just put it to the Skins.
Yeah, I agree with Scott. 28-7, 31-7, 31-6, 24-6. Something in there is going to be the final score.
I'll tell you even
Redskins
more.
Not going to score.
Offense looked so bad last week. They want to get that going. and the defense of the Skins is going to frustrate them. Tom Brady's torched Rob Ryan defenses all his career. I mean,
I'll give the Bills a lot more credit. I feel like at least the narrative that I've heard this week is like Pat's offense really struggled, and I would disagree. I think Bills defense, 1, is really good, and 2, played a hell of a game.
yeah.
And I think everyone on this podcast likes McDermott as a coach. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's obviously not Belichick, but get credit where it's due. And that credit is not due to the Washington Redskins players. Coaching staff, I actually think the coaches are okay. The team stinks.
2 objects that love flying. Jets, Eagles. Eagles at home favored 13.5.
Not a super contest play just because I don't know if Darnold's playing. If Darnold's not playing, lay the points, and that spread's going to jump up. If Darnold is playing, I'm going to swallow these. I'm going to take the points with the Jets, and that's just too many points to lay to a team that's needs to get some wins on the slate for them. They have a lot of weapons on offense. Luke Falk is not the one to deliver the pigskin to them, but Sam Darnold is, and 2 touchdowns is just too much to give to this team. And also they're off a bye, so that they've been preparing a lot for this game. So I do like the Jets. If Sam Darnold's playing, if it's Luke Falk, all bets are off, and the spread should be 21.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get lucky with some Darnold news tomorrow, Friday, before we put the picks in, because I heard John Murray at the Westgate, and then I forgot what podcast it was. He said with Darnold playing, this line is closer to 8 or 9, which means I will be taking the points if that's the case. But no play here for me, and probably won't be able to get down on it if we get the breaking news. But if you somehow found out Darnold is out there and your book's slow to move, I would grab the 13.5.
Still got mono. Unreal. Bucks.
Yeah, who knows?
Saints. Bridgewater at home, favored by 3.5.
So Tampa Bay looked absolutely fantastic last week. Give me the home team, though. And trust me, this is someone who absolutely despises Teddy Bridgewater as a quarterback. He's awful. He is not good. But this is a very tough place to play. Said it a couple of weeks ago, Jameis Winston wins. What does he do? He loses. This is a tough environment for this team. They're not going to be able to run the ball. Lattimore all over Mike Evans. As long as they can neutralize Chris Godwin, who's just been a beast, and I'm eating so much crow on him in fantasy this year. Give me the Saints and just an ugly game. And I just don't expect the Bucs to repeat what they did last week.
This is a Wonkavator pick of the week right here with the New Orleans Saints. We're going to have to get like a sound. Yeah. What's that called? A drop?
Ooh, I like
radio
it.
speak.
Effect?
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking for?
We're gonna have to get one of those, like doo 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 doo, whatever, but not that, but like a Wonkavator sound. What's that, DJ Khaled?
What's
Doo,
that?
doo, 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 doo.
No, that's just an air
The
horn.
horns?
That's just every DJ that's ever existed. Ever.
Okay. In the entire Earth's history, every DJ ever.
Well, they don't know how to transition to the next song.
Yeah, just break everything up and start over again.
Mm-hmm.
Saints, I made this 6. I think this line is extremely disrespectful. I give the Superdome 3.5 points for home field advantage simply, which means these two teams are even on a neutral field, which is a bunch of hogwash. I think everyone saw the Bucs score 55 points last week against the Rams. People bet what they've seen. They watched the Saints play Dallas on Sunday night in prime time and score basically no points. Well, guess what? Teddy Bridgewater is starting to get a little bit of rhythm. The defense get a little bit of flow. I expect to see a good performance here from the Saints and easily cover that 3.5 number. I could see them winning by somewhere between 7 and 10 points. Saints, Wonkavator.
Ooh.
Saints got Wonkavator. I will say, going back to the Vikings real quick, I think the funniest thing I see on my social media is, we should have kept Bridgewater. And I'm like,
no.
Wait, what? Like, the guy's leg almost fell off. And you're going
to pay him
exactly.
too.
I know.
You're not getting out of this money. You picked the wrong guy. You drew the wrong card. Yeah, I mean, You played war and lost. That's basically what it comes down to.
You picked the wrong guy.
You have 3 choices for quarterback to lead your team for the next 3 years: Gardner Minshew, Teddy Bridgewater, Kirk Cousins. Who you going with?
Minshew. No, realistically, Kirk. I mean, just
I was going to say, who does my heart say? Of course, Gardner. But I would probably answer Teddy Bridgewater.
Wow. I'm going Gardner.
Come on.
I know what I'm getting out of Kirk.
They scored like 3 touchdowns.
I know what I'm getting out of Kirk Cousins. It's nothing. It's nothing that's going to lead me in the playoffs. Maybe Gardner Minshew. It's better.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
No, you would. I think you would get in the playoffs with Kirk Cousins, and you're locking yourself into going no further than the first round.
Exactly.
Well, what's
Where
funny in that?
Teddy, you may blow it out, but you also might take it to the tippy top. So I guess it just depends on what you're trying to do. And I don't think you're going to the tippy top with Gardner.
I want Gardner's beautiful mustache to just graze the Lombardi Trophy as he's slowly smooching it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's in there. I could be obviously wrong. But if I'm talking about what of those 3 guys could actually win the Super Bowl, I think it's Teddy Bridgewater with his bike.
I wish we were recording that like video wise because that was egregious. That's got to be a Twitter poll tonight, Scott. So we'll go spoiler alert when you're listening to this. Hopefully you voted in the poll.
Yeah, and if you haven't, please vote.
Yeah,
we'd love to hear.
Next up, Falcons, Texans in Houston. Texans, then the butt chin by 5.
Oh God, both coaching staffs are just terrible, and it's just which poison do you want to pick yourself with? I mean, Matt Ryan got toasted. His offensive line gave him no help. J.J. Watt's going to be going up against a rookie McGarry. But the Texans, they have no offensive line. They make poor coaching decisions. They looked very inferior against the Panthers and Kyle Allen last week. Gun to the head, I'm taking the Falcons, and it makes me want to puke just because they have so many offensive weapons against a very, very poor secondary of the Texans. So 5 points. I mean, this is easily a field goal game, but you just can't trust either one of these teams. It's interesting for DFS. A lot of talk about Will Fuller being a guy who has a ton of air yards and just waiting for him to bust out. I'm considering putting the Falcons in my lineup. I definitely won't touch the Texans at more than a field goal in a game like this where the Falcons can score all day. But the offensive line of the Falcons is just super concerning. So there's a lot of caveats with this pick.
Yeah, I'm going to get sucked into the Falcons. I can tell it already because it's just, again, ultimate buy low opportunity. I sure as heck don't trust Bill incompetent O'Brien to cover 5 points. Why these 2 coaches have a job to me is befuddling. Their offense. How is Atlanta's offense not good? How is that possible?
Coaching.
That's what I mean. It's the only possible outcome.
Yeah, I mean, you look. They have weapons everywhere. I mean, you look at what this offense did 2 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl.
Stacked.
Yeah, and nothing's
the same
changed.
Dudes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They added Calvin Ridley.
Yeah,
that's it.
Can they get him the damn ball? What is the problem with your offense? You can't get him the ball.
No idea.
They can't get anyone the ball.
Seriously, I don't understand it.
It's so frustrating.
Sanu, Jones, Ridley. I mean, you have 3 stud receivers right there.
Hooper, Devontae. I mean, they got, and Matt Ryan is come on.
Matty Ice.
It's befuddling.
Sad.
It's wagon time, boys. Bills getting no respect. They get no respect.
They really do get no respect.
Playing the Titans in Tennessee. They're 3-point dogs. Titans favored.
I actually think this line is really respectful to the Bills because you don't know Josh Allen's status, and they're still only 3-point dogs. They actually opened at 2.5 and then moved half a point. I think this defense is going to give Marcus Mariota a lot of problems. They're not going to be able to run on him, and they definitely definitely aren't going to be able to throw on them. So this under is super juicy. I mean, it's shockingly low at 38, but I think or 38.5. I think it's an under that's very tasty, particularly first half under. I'll take the 3 points with the Bills. I actually think they go on the road and win this game. I think it's a defensive-led charge, even if Matt Barkley plays. The team rallied around him last year at the Jets, and they laid it on them. So give me the Bills, and I like them outright, Josh Allen or not.
Yeah, is he concussed, I presume?
He is concussed, but he's been practicing limited all week. I think he's going to play, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I really like the first half under here. I don't like game under simply because there is zero room for error at 38 points when you're betting an under, and I could see a defensive touchdown here. This is going to be knockdown, drag out, ugly. I made the line 2 just as a function of I think the Bills are a better team than the Titans, but obviously it's in Nashville this weekend. So I agree with Scott. I think this Bills defense is going to get after Marcus Mariota, but a slugfest. This is going to be old school, circa 1997 football. Ugly.
The Titans looked absolutely great last week, and the fact that this is only 2.5, 3, I feel like this is a Joe Public hammer the Titans type of game, and it's a little fishy. I really do genuinely like the Bills in this spot. It's not just because I've been touting them. I've been just screaming their praises all preseason and all season so far. They've been money in the bank.
But you know what they say? Life's too short to bet the under. So next game, battle of the two most just gotta be boring quarterbacks in the NFL. We got Broncos, we got Chargers. Chargers at home, favored by 6.5.
This is a stay very, very, very far away. This is a Broncos team that people have been caught up betting, thinking that they're going to bust out, and they've been disappointed. But this is a bit too many points for a team that has really no home field advantage, a lackluster coach, a lot of injuries. They just sent Dontrell Inman to IR. You don't know how Gordon and Eckler are going to play off each other. This is a desperate Broncos team. If they have any sort of pride, they should, in division, make this a field goal game. So that gives me a lot of pause and a lot of reason to stay away from this one. Going to the head, I'm taking the Broncos, but I want to puke all over that.
Yeah, I agree with Scott. I would look to bet Broncos here. I'm definitely not going to play it in the contest. I don't think Vic Fangio is a very good coach. Obviously, at the risk of belaboring the point here, Joe Flacco is not a very good quarterback.
What?
And, yeah, shocker, spoiler alert. Very on brand for this podcast. Joe Flacco stinks. No interest in them, but I also notoriously have bet against the Chargers as, we'll call it, large home favorites, a team that has notoriously underperformed. But so it's a stay away from me.
I mean, 6.5, that's like about how many kids Phillip Rivers has at this point, right?
Yeah. I think he's going for the football team. He's going for the full 11 on 11.
Well, he got what? I mean, you could go 7 on 7. That's what the football is going to be by the time.
That's true.
Yeah,
The Rivers family versus the Fitzpatrick family.
Yeah. Don't forget the Cromarties in there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez. Cromartie can field his own 7 on 7.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't need the help from Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, he can have one on one side and one on the other. He's got like 14 out there. Packers, Cowboys, this has to be Fox game of the week, isn't it? I mean,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course that is. There's only 2 4 o'clock games this week. It's
Come on, NFL.
Aggravating.
Aikman's just frothing in a corner, like just so juiced up for this game. Just
He looked hungover in that whatever that last game was.
always looks horrible. That's why they don't put him on the TV. And like they show him and Buck's gigantic forehead for like 10 seconds at the start of the game, and then it's all B-roll. They're just like, yeah, roll the clips. We can't show them what Aikman looks like today.
Aikman's sitting there like,
I'm just going to keep getting at Pat Mahomes on Twitter. I'm just going to keep arguing with him. Oh, jeez, what an idiot. But anyway, Cowboys are favored at home 3.5.
So I mean, Joe Public, their two favorite teams right here. I'm going to lay the 3.5 with the Cowboys. Obviously, disappointing performance from them on Sunday Night Football. But the struggle with the Packers is no Devontae Adams. So you're going to get a steady dose of Geronimo Allison and Marcus Valdez-Scantling. Jamal Williams also hurt, concussed, so he's probably out. This is a big game for Ezekiel Elliott because Green Bay is allowing the league high in rushing success rate right now and yards after contact. So this is a Zeke Elliott bad game last week. Get right this week, lay the 3.5 at home, Fox game of the week, blah.
Scott and I singing from the same song sheet this go round. I also like the Cowboys. I made this 6. I've been looking really to fade the Packers. I don't think this defense is very good. I expect everything that Scott just said. Ezekiel Elliott, big game. Jason Garrett will be doing his dumbass clap while they're getting first downs. And Aaron Rodgers, I think the unimpressive is probably the word that I would use for him this season. It has not been spectacular. Really has been doing just enough to get it done against what I would view to be very middling competition. I like what I've seen from the Cowboys this week, this year, including last week. Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott and that offensive line doing just enough to win games in spite of their idiot redhead head coach.
Really, the struggle is that the Packers are on extended rest off of the Thursday night game against the Eagles.
But that was a full game. They were up and down. So I agree with you. A couple days extra rest, but I just don't. If I'm saying on a neutral that the Cowboy, what this effectively says in my estimation is that the Cowboys and Packers are even on a neutral, and I don't buy that, even with the extra rest.
Yeah, I just think Zeke's going to be too much. You saw what Dalvin Cook did, and the Vikings' offensive line isn't as good as the Cowboys' O-line, so I just think it's going to be a ground and pound and just wear them down, where you see in the third, fourth quarter this Cowboys team really get the ball
What's the
going.
total then on that one? Maybe a quick game. Got to get home for lunch.
46.5 on this one.
Yeah, that's a potential underplay.
Mm-hmm. And then, so we got this.
Especially after the Packers with a light up the scoreboard week that everybody saw. Stay tuned, folks. Follow us on BetSperts.
And we've been waiting all day for a Sunday night. We got Chiefs, Colts, Chiefs at Arrowhead, 11-point favorites. Jared, I think our uncle and cousin are going to this game, and they're going to be super juiced for that one.
I will take the 11 points, and I'll roll with the Colts if T.Y. Hilton is playing. So it'll lend me not to play this in the Super Contest just because I don't know his status. The Colts will struggle without T.Y. Hilton. And also Marlon Mack seems like he's going to be out, but I think he was irrelevant in this game because it's going to be a lay up the scoreboard type of night, and it's going to be a night for Nyheim Hines and Jordan Wilkins and not for Marlon Mack. A bit too many points for a team that can has some offensive weapons. If T.Y. Hilton is playing only, I will be on the Colts. If he's not playing, this is a Chiefs or stay away.
And I'm getting scared now, Scott, with all these similar picks here. I also am going to take the Colts. I've been on the Chiefs train the whole year. It's time to make up some ground in the contest. I will be playing the Colts with the hope that it is a contrarian play. You saw them lose to a pretty putrid Oakland team last week at home. I think this is get right. I think Jacoby Brissett and this offense, as you mentioned, will be able to match them up and down the field. This Chiefs defense is terrible, and I think they'll be able to move it. Too many points to lay, even though the offense is great. With that type of defense, anytime you lay double digits, I'm going to be looking to be on the other side. So give me the Colts in the contest with the monies, everything.
I dare anyone who listens to this podcast to try and tell me that any one of your friends is a bigger Chiefs fan than Jared and I's uncle, and I will bet everything in my life that's not factual.
Not possible.
This man, we were just up there to see family. Chiefs hat, Chiefs shirt, Chiefs shorts, Chiefs socks, Chiefs shoes, Chiefs mug.
Yeah, he's the person where when you go to the gift shop or the NFL shop or whatever, and you're like, you see something like, who the hell would buy this, much less wear it? That's our uncle.
He's got the Zumba pants.
He buys it and he wears it. Yeah, he's the guy's all in on his Chiefs, which I don't know. For our entire adult life, they've sucked. So it's exciting for him to see have some success.
I think the only reason he's a Chiefs fan is because the Chiefs beat the Vikings in, like, I'm sure that Super Bowl. I don't remember which one, but I'm sure that was around the time where he was
formative years.
Yeah, and just did it to piss off our grandfather, which I think is hysterical.
Very possible.
Yes, because that sounds like something you would do, Jared.
Don't ask Scott why he's a Patriots fan then.
The next game, quick. Monday night.
Save Monday night for the recap.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. I always get excited about Monday night, and then I remember.
Me too. This is a really good one too. They got lucky.
Finally, thank God.
Got lucky. This is a really interesting game. I like it a lot.
Make sure to put it on mute, though.
They've been terrible ever since then, or until now, I should say.
Booger's so bad.
The worst. I love Russillo's podcast, and I instantly deleted two. I instantly deleted the one with Booger McFarland, and I instantly deleted the one with Danny Cannell.
I love it. So once
Can't
again,
be having that nonsense.
Once again, junkies, it's draft.com, promo code Pigskin Junkies, all one word, free $3 play. Tweet us at pigskin_junkies to get at Jared or at Scott and put it up against them. They'd much enjoy that. And then who knows? You do it. If you take them both down, maybe we'll get you on the podcast for real.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Yeah,
because I am looking at this right now. I am thumping people in the season-long league. I'm talking woodshed.
There you go. Jared's confident. He's feeling cocky. You got to take him down. But that's going to do it for this week's edition of Pigskin Junkies. I'm Michael Larson. That's Jared Larson. That's Scott Panza. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will talk to you on Sunday night or Monday morning, whenever you listen.
See ya.
Matt Barkley.